I don't know about you, but the last 2 to 3 bananas in my house for some reason never get eaten, especially after they've turned brown and spotty. So today in the kitchen with Jen, we are going to be making some chocolate chip banana muffins that are so easy it's impossible to screw them up. So let's go. Okay, so you're gonna need a couple ingredients. First things first, it's a banana chocolate chip muffin recipe, so you're gonna need bananas. Ideally, 3 ripe bananas, but I only have 2, so I'm gonna be using this sort of ripe banana. I would prefer it not to be green to complete the 3. You're going to need 1.5 cups of flour. I am using all-purpose flour. You can use whole wheat if you want. I wouldn't start messing around with the other types of flours unless you are good at figuring out how to substitute those flours, because different flours, for example, coconut flour absorbs more moisture, which means you'll have to add more moisture. But if you're good at that, by all means, substitute your flour. But if you're not, I would stick with either the typical all-purpose flour or whole wheat flour for this recipe. And I promise in the future I will do allergy-free recipes. I've done a whole bunch over the course of my 17 years as a cake artist, and I promise I will be doing some allergy-free recipe videos. You're going to need 3/4 cup of sugar. This one you can feel free to substitute for whatever sugar that you usually use. The sugar isn't as important as the flour, because the flour is your gluten, which we need to bind the recipe with the egg and the whole scientific process. Okay, I'm back. You're going to need 1/3 cup of vegetable oil. Again, this is another thing that you could substitute if you'd like to. If you're not a fan of vegetable oil, you can substitute it for melted coconut oil. You can substitute it for melted butter or margarine. If you are substituting for butter or margarine, the melted version of them, understand that your recipe is going to be a little bit thicker. I've done that before, and it's just the batter is a little bit thicker and the cupcake's a little bit more dense. You're going to need 1 large egg. Doesn't matter what type of egg, just 1 large egg. You're also going to need 1 teaspoon of baking powder, baking soda, so 1 of each of those, 1 teaspoon of each, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Feel free to omit the salt as well if you're trying to eat more healthy and you don't want to add extra salt into your diet. The salt isn't necessary. It just offsets the sweetness in the cupcake, but it's not essential. You're also going to need your choice of chocolate chips. I'm a milk chocolate girl. Feel free to use whatever chocolate chips you want. Dark chocolate, white chocolate, I'm not judging, so feel free. And you're going to need your cupcake muffin wrappers. And that is all she wrote. That's all you need. Well, for ingredients. Ideally, you should have a spatula and something to scoop your muffin batter. I am using an ice cream scoop that has a little flicker that's really easy to get the batter out of the ice cream scoop, and it's the perfect size for putting in the muffin tins. I will put a link to one that's similar on Amazon below this video. Okay, we always want to start with the wet ingredients, and the first one we want to blend up is our bananas. My 2 very ripe ones and my sort of ripe one. So I'm going to peel these and put them in the mixing bowl. If you don't have a stand mixer, you can use a handheld mixer as well. So all 3 of my bananas are going to go in the mixer first. And then I'm just going to turn on and mix it till they're broken up. So I'm mixing this on like a low to medium, not like super low. It's a 4 on my mixer. I have a Hamilton Beach mixer here. I also have a KitchenAid and a couple other ones, but I'm using my Hamilton Beach. It's my favorite. The paddle on it looks a little beat up now because I've had it for like 15 years, but I've tried looking for paddle replacements and you can't get them for some reason for these mixers. You can for the KitchenAids, but not for the Hamilton Beach, which sucks because I'd love a new shiny paddle because I love this mixer. But yeah, that's my story. Oh, wrong way. I'm used to working the other direction. I have flipped it for you for the camera. Okay. So this is about the consistency that you want your bananas before you add your other wet ingredients. So I'm going to be adding my oil. In goes the oil. Is there like a song about oil? I have no idea. I don't drink coffee, so I'm a little crazy in the morning. Sleep deprived. I am up earlier than usual because I'm trying to get this video filmed before Tyler wakes up, who is my 4-year-old. Otherwise you will hear more noise in the background. Okay, back to what I'm doing. Egg. We're putting in 1 large egg. If it'll let me. Now, a lot of people will break their egg into a different container just in case shells get in the batter. And while I do that sometimes, I'm being lazy because it's just 1 egg. And if you do happen to get shells in your batter, you can actually take the larger portion of the shell and you can use it to scoop that out. This will penetrate the egg stuff, because if you ever try to do it with a spoon, it's impossible because the spoon doesn't work the same way as the eggshell does. But the eggshell is a super easy way to get little pieces of eggshell back out. Okay, I'm gonna rinse my fingers. Now that I've put this this egg in, I'm gonna, the egg and the oil in. I'm going to mix it just until combined. And done. So it's just combined. You can still see that there's a little bit of oil around the outside of that banana. It's fine. It'll get together when we add the flour. Okay, I'm gonna put my sugar in now. I'm gonna mix that till combined. And we're mixing, we're mixing, we're mixing, we're mixing. Yes, I make up songs. I've been doing it since I was a little girl. We used to have this farm up north, and we had this go-kart that we had built. And on the go-kart, I would be driving. So this farm was like a cottage for us. It was inherited from my grandparents. We eventually sold it. Anyways, so there was this like long laneway between the farmhouse and the barn, and I'd be on the go-kart, and I'd be driving back and forth between the barn and the house, and I would be singing at the top of my lungs and making up songs. And my mom, I'm pretty sure she's taken pictures or recorded it. Yeah. I don't know if those videos will ever surface, but yes, I have been making videos. I've been making up songs since I was a little girl. Yeah. Hi. Okay. She's mixed. So you can see that the oil is starting to get together with the rest of our ingredients. It's no longer being a stranger. Okay, now we're going to add our flour and our 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and salt. And if you want to, you can just marry these guys early and then chuck her in. This recipe is pretty much foolproof, so you can't mix it up. A lot of recipes, you'll find that they're like, mix all the dry ingredients in a bowl before you incorporate. Well, this recipe's foolproof, so don't worry about it. Just throw them in. And we shall mix. We are mixing, and we're mixing. Okay, so you're gonna see it start to get some flour on the side of the bowl. That happens, that's why we have scrapers. But you'll see it's starting to get thicker. It kind of looks like a cookie dough at first, and then she slowly mellows out and looks more like a batter. And you don't want to overmix this, because this isn't like a standard cake recipe where you have like a creaming method like with butter and stuff. It's not going to get like fluffy, you know, like some batters get like fluffy and they double in size when you whip a lot of air into them. This one doesn't do that. If you were to over whip it, your batter would get tough. So you just want to mix every time until the stuff's incorporated. So this is incorporated. What I want to do is now scrape down the bowl with my handy dandy spatula. And Oh, I lost my light. Brief interlude, please, while I change the batteries in my light. And we're back, and we have light. Okay, so back to scraping down my bowl. So again, you don't want to overmix your batter. You want to mix until incorporated. You want your gluten in this recipe to kind of be like acquaintances. Like, you're friendly, but you're not like overly close. Not like getting married or anything. If you were to overmix, it'd be like kind of like an instant wedding, and we don't want that. So you want your gluten like acquaintances, which means we're only mixing till incorporated. Okay, now that I've scraped down my bowl, remember the chocolate chips, my favorite part. So you're gonna add it's about a half a bag of chocolate chips to your recipe. And again, we're only mixing until incorporated. Okay, gently put your mixer down. Again, if you do not have a stand mixer, you can use a hand mixer, just the same process. It just might take a little bit longer to mix because hand mixers tend to be smaller. So yeah. So it takes maybe 10 seconds to get those chocolate chips in, and then you're done. Super simple recipe. I can't talk. Super simple recipe. And now you want to, of course, make sure you put your muffin tins in. And you want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, because that is what we're going to bake it at. As well, do you want to grab your muffin scoop? Because we are going to scoop our muffins. Okay, so I have got my muffin pan lined with my muffin wrappers. I'm going to bring my muffin tin closer to me. You're going to take your muffin scoop. Again, it's the perfect size for doing this. You want to release your paddle from your mixer. It's done its job. You can go on break now. Okay, paddle goes in the sink. You want to scrape down your bowl one last time just to make sure that everything got together like your friendly acquaintances that they are. Just to make sure. Okay. Keep this handy just in case you need it, because when you get to the bottom of the bowl, sometimes you need to push things together so that you can get it in your scoop. Okay, so my scoop, I'm literally just diving in. It's literally the perfect size to then go in my muffin pan. See? Perfect size. So we are going with 11. It's because two of my bananas were really small. Ideally, you wanted the bananas the size of the not so ripe one, like regular banana size. The other really ripe ones were like almost like mini bananas for some reason. I had ordered them from Instacart and they came mini. It's totally fine. So if you use regular size bananas, one batch of this recipe should give you 12 muffins. Okay. So we're gonna put these muffins in the oven. And they're gonna bake up and get super yummy and good, and then we get to eat them. So dance party or a cleanup? Probably cleanup. Okay, so I'm gonna set my timer for 20 minutes to then check on these bad boys. I'll meet you back here in 20 minutes to check on them. Okay, sound good? Bye-bye. I wanted to show you this quick. So you can check the cupcakes by topping the top. If you get a little indent like that, that means that they're not ready to come out, or you can use a toothpick, and if it pulls clean. This is just the easiest way. So you want that cake to bounce back. When it bounces back, that's how you know that they're ready to come out of the oven. So I'm gonna set these for another maybe 5 minutes and then check them again. This is how you can tell that they're done. I tap it and then you can see that the cake bounces back. Okay, as you can see, it turns out super yummy, lots of chocolate chips, bakes up nice and fluffy. Make sure to screenshot the recipe card in 3, 2, 1, go. Save that to whatever program or device you want to be able to reference it from next. And make sure to stick around to the end of this video for some bloopers that seem to happen in every video that I do, and I will catch you in the next video. It's totally fine. It's totally fine. It is not a cake video without bloopers. Okay, and I'm back, and my mic is now on. You can see what's another light. It's just combined. It's like a little liquidy. You can see that. It's just combined. It's like a little liquidy. I don't know if you can see that. And of course, as I'm doing that, my paddle is dripping all over my mixer.